The courage to heal, breaking cycles, and embracing wholeness. Have you ever noticed how we celebrate the strength it takes to endure pain, but rarely acknowledge the courage it takes to heal from it? I recently had the profound privilege of interviewing Quierra Chaney, a remarkable advocate whose work has transformed the landscape of trauma, recovery, and maternal mental health. What makes Quierra extraordinary isn't just her expertise, but her ability to illuminate the darkest corners of human experience with compassion and clarity. She's the kind of person who doesn't just talk about healing, she creates pathways to it for those who've been told their wounds are permanent. Her insights have given voice to experiences that often remain hidden in the shadows, particularly for single mothers navigating trauma recovery. What struck me most about our conversation wasn't just her wisdom, but how she embodies the truth that healing isn't a destination we arrive at. It's a journey we commit to day after day, sometimes minute by minute. Think about that for a moment. We're conditioned to believe healing should follow a neat, linear path. First comes the trauma, then the intervention, followed by recovery, and finally, voila, you're healed. Except that's not how it works, is it? Healing from profound wounds, whether childhood sexual abuse or the grinding exhaustion of single parenthood, doesn't follow a tidy timeline. Some days you feel like you've conquered mountains. Other days you can barely get out of bed, and both of those realities can exist in the same week, the same day, sometimes even the same hour. Let me share something that might shock you. A 7-year national study published in JAMA Internal Medicine tracked over 198,000 mothers with children under 17. The findings weren't just sobering, they were alarming. Sharp declines in both physical and mental health among all mothers, with single moms experiencing the steepest drops. Between 2016 and 2023, even mothers who once reported excellent mental health saw their well being deteriorate significantly. This decline was most pronounced among those parenting alone or facing economic hardship. Now, I want you to really sit with that. Nearly 200,000 women, 7 years, consistent decline. This isn't an anomaly, it's an epidemic. What makes this particularly troubling is how it perpetuates cycles of trauma. When a mother is struggling with her mental health while simultaneously trying to heal from her own past wounds, the ripple effects touch everything: her children, her community, her future. The children who witness their mother's untreated depression are more likely to develop mental health issues themselves. The communities that fail to support single mothers end up paying for that failure in countless ways. The future we're creating becomes more fractured, not less. But here's where it gets interesting. The study didn't just document problems, it sparked solutions. Organizations began creating specific action plans for maternal mental health support. Policy discussions around maternal care nationwide shifted. People started recognizing the urgent need for comprehensive support systems specifically tailored for single mothers, particularly single Black mothers. And yet, we're still not talking about this enough. Let me share something that might surprise you even more. Research from Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Medical University found that over 54% of single mothers experience depression due to workload, financial strain, and social stigma. Not 5%, not 15%, 54%, more than half. These aren't just statistics, these are real women describing feeling exhausted, managing both parenting roles alone while facing judgment from society. Many struggle with anger management or emotional regulation as a result. Clinical depression rates hit 17%. Anxiety disorders, 24%. I want you to imagine for a moment what it feels like to be completely responsible for another human being's survival while simultaneously trying to heal your own wounds, manage your own mental health, and navigate a society that often views your family structure as inherently deficient. Imagine waking up at 5 a.m. after a night of broken sleep because your child had nightmares. You're already exhausted, but you push through. You make breakfast, pack lunches, get everyone dressed, drop your child at school, and rush to work. Your boss is unsympathetic to your family situation. Your coworkers don't understand why you can't join after work drinks. You're constantly toggling between professional demands and parental responsibilities. Then imagine doing all that while carrying the weight of your own unresolved trauma. Perhaps you're a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. Perhaps you're still processing the grief of divorce or abandonment. Perhaps you're battling intrusive thought or flashbacks that ambush you in quiet moments. Now imagine doing all that without adequate support. This is the reality for millions of women. And it's a reality that Quierra Chaney understands intimately, not just through research, but through the lived experiences of the communities she serves. What makes this situation even more complex is how trauma and single motherhood often intersect. Many women raising children alone have histories of adverse childhood experiences, including sexual abuse. The psychological weight of healing from those experiences while simultaneously being the sole provider, nurturer, disciplinarian, and emotional anchor for children is almost unfathomable. And yet, women do it every day. They show up, they push through, they survive. What if we could help them do more than just survive? What if we could create conditions where they could actually thrive? An analysis published by Number Analytics explored how social policies influence outcomes for single mothers, including access to education, job training programs, and behavioral health care supports. Many face barriers rooted in structural inequalities, from limited childcare options making employment difficult to inadequate insurance coverage restricting access to therapy and trauma recovery efforts. The analysis emphasized something crucial: holistic policy reform. Increasing funding and supports not only reduces acute distress, but helps break intergenerational cycles linked with childhood abuse and adversity experienced disproportionately by Black families. Communities implementing wraparound services saw improvements in self reported well being among participants. Increased educational attainment and job stability often correlated with better long term outcomes. This matters because historically marginalized groups have had less political leverage when advocating for changes benefiting their family structures. The shift toward evidence based policymaking has begun changing narratives about what support should really mean. But policy change alone isn't enough. Cultural change is needed too. We need to stop romanticizing the strong single mother narrative that keeps women trapped in cycles of overwork and undercare. We need to recognize that seeking help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. We need to understand that healing isn't linear, and that's okay. As Quierra's work demonstrates, healing is messy, it's inconsistent. It has good days and bad days. And that's not failure. That's just the reality of how human beings process pain and grow from it. I think about the mothers in these studies, the ones managing depression while making breakfast, the ones having panic attacks in bathroom stalls during their lunch breaks, the ones staying up late researching resources for their children while neglecting their own needs. I think about how we celebrate their strength, but rarely acknowledge their suffering, how we admire their resilience, but don't question why they need to be so resilient in the first place. What would happen if we created a world where single mothers, particularly those healing from trauma, didn't have to be quite so strong all the time? What if we built systems that supported their healing journeys instead of adding to their burdens? The research is clear. When we support mothers' mental health, everyone benefits. Their children benefit, their communities benefit, society as a whole benefits. But this isn't just about policy or programs, it's about perspective. It's about recognizing that healing from trauma while parenting alone isn't just challenging, it's one of the most courageous acts a human being can undertake. It's about understanding that the mother who seems to be falling apart might actually be in the process of putting herself back together in a healthier way. It's about seeing the strength in vulnerability, the power in asking for help, the wisdom in setting boundaries. It's about creating space for women to say, I'm not okay right now, and that's okay. Because here's the truth that Quierra's work illuminates so powerfully. Healing isn't something you achieve once and for all, it's something you practice day after day. Some days you practice it well, some days you don't, but showing up for the practice, that's what matters. And for single mothers healing from trauma, showing up for that practice while simultaneously showing up for their children requires extraordinary courage. It's a courage we should recognize, honor, and support. So I challenge you today. Look beyond the superficial strength you see in the single mothers around you. See their struggle, acknowledge their pain, and then do something about it. If you're a policymaker, fight for comprehensive mental health services for single parents. Push for affordable childcare, flexible work arrangements, and trauma informed approaches in all systems that interact with families. If you're an employer, create workplace cultures that recognize the unique challenges single parents face. Offer flexibility, understanding, and concrete support. If you're a community member, provide practical help. Watch a child so a single mother can attend therapy. Bring a meal, be present without judgment. And if you're a single mother healing from trauma yourself, remember this: you don't have to heal perfectly. You just have to keep showing up for the journey. Your healing isn't selfish, it's revolutionary. It's how cycles of trauma end, it's how new beginnings are born. The courage to heal isn't just about overcoming your past, it's about transforming the future, not just for yourself, but for generations to come. That's not just personal growth, that's world changing power. And it starts with one radical act: believing that you deserve to be whole,